Welcome to U Talk. I'm Megan Demolina, school counselor at Noble Middle School. Our show is all about the middle school student. Testing, bullying, dating, stress, and so much more. We discuss it all. Joining me each month is a dynamic and engaging panel of middle school students ready to discuss the issues and tackle the tough questions. We kick off our show with some Q&A featuring questions on a variety of topics from middle schools throughout the school system that our panel of students are ready to answer. No question is too tough, no topic is too difficult. All right, panelists, here's question number 1 for this month. About 2 months ago, I began texting a girl who goes to my school. She's beautiful. I had a hard time getting the nerve to talk to her at school, but I eventually texted her and asked her out. She said no, saying that she didn't feel the same way. I was crushed because I thought things were going really well and we have a lot in common. But I figured that I should remain friendly because I don't want to be rude and cut her out because it's a small school and I see her frequently. We still text or Snapchat somewhat frequently. I thought I was moving on, but we just had a school dance recently and she looked amazing, and I realized that I was not over her. I don't know what to do. It feels like I don't want to move on. Is there any advice that you have for me? This is a tough one, huh? Love hurts. What do you all think? What should he do?
I'll go first. Sorry. I was thinking that maybe she's not ready because they don't really know each other. They may be talking or something, but that doesn't mean they really know who they are. So maybe she's not ready to take that extra step, and that's smart because you don't know who you're getting yourself into. So he needs to make sure that he's still being nice like he is, and maybe talking to her in person, because I know he said he was scared to do that.
Sure, it sounds like building friendship, building the friendship between the two students is really critical and essential in the beginning stages of any relationship.
Yeah, I would say that, so just be nice, kind of keep it down low, don't make it like not obvious, but like don't be like chasing after her, trying to talk to her all the time. Give her some space, let her do her, and if she tries to talk to you, just keep talking to her, and just kind of take it slow and see where things go.
And I am the exact opposite. If that happened to me, I would say like, okay, that hurt. There's many other fish in the sea, so you could just look out, see if there's anybody else. And then get your mind off of her and looking for someone else.
I think it's always good to be like a good friend to someone that you had a crush on, because if they're still fine, then it's pretty good. That means they could be a really good friend in the long time. And then also they always have friends, so it's always good to seek out her friends.
Just kind of get to know everybody and just build those friendships, strengthen those relationships, and realize and recognize that everybody's going through it, and it might be a short-term thing, it might be a long-term thing as far as relationships go, but it is great to keep your options open and stay friendly and just focus on you. I think that you had mentioned that, Charlotte, and that's really an important thing because it can be really hard when you like someone so much. All right, question number 2. My friend and I just had a big fight. While we were lining up for PE, she said she didn't want to be friends anymore, just because we had iPads in language arts class and I didn't want to make an iMovie with her. I ended up hanging out with someone else. During actual PE time, she kept talking to me, saying she wanted to be friends again. I told her that I didn't want to be friends anymore. She started blubbering about how she has no friends, when she really knows all these people. I want to be friends, but I don't want to keep fighting. Once we fight, we make up. Then, 2 days later, we fight again. Please help me.
So this has happened to me before, and I would say just this time, that's something like smaller. It's not a very big problem. So I would just say if she wants to be friends again, just give her one more chance. I would say like, okay, but if we fight over little things again, like I don't want to be friends with you because you make everything such a big deal, and I just want no drama in my life and just plain just a normal life.
Sure.
Like, I don't want you to be bringing me into things or just be making such little things very big and making a big deal about them.
Say no to drama and
Yeah.
setting your own boundaries and perimeters on
What
that.
I would do is, if that happened to me, I would look at her, stare at her in the eye, and I'd be like, no, no more. And I would just go on my day and completely ignore her because it was her fault that we decided not to become friends anymore because of something that was not important. So I would just go with the other people, and I wouldn't want to hang out with that person.
Trying to let go and move on and find the healthy relationships in your life, right?
Or maybe you could just, or maybe you could just take a break. Like, address to her,
good.
like, you know, this is a lot for me right now, and, you know, I don't really need this in my life. So maybe if I just take a break and think about what I'm doing with this relationship, and then maybe come tell her, like, I don't think this is a good idea. I know it's been a good time playing with you and stuff, but it's time to get people who treat me a little bit better.
I think you should like try to get. I feel like if you got like another friend to come in and like hang out, so then it was like 3 friends. The other friend can help try to stop this all this fighting, and bring both of the people plus the new friend all together, and then they'll stop fighting. That could definitely help. Having multiple friends.
Yeah.
Because if it's a toxic relationship, then it's not meant to be, and you want the best friends that you can have who are going to treat you respectfully and the way that you want to be treated if you're treating them nicely.
Yeah, friends that stand by you, but then also trying to work through some conflicts and grow and learn from things that maybe don't go well, or relationships that aren't making you happy, right? Or bring you joy. All right, last question today. It always seems like my mom is yelling at me for every tiny mistake I make, even if it's not my fault. She always makes me do things for my older sister, and she makes me do the chores that could be done by either of us. She doesn't like the clothes I like to wear, and she doesn't like me to spend more than 5 minutes on my phone. She won't let me get an Instagram account. And tiny things, even the way I wear my clothes, bother her. Just yesterday, I rolled up my jeans to my ankles and she said it looked goofy. So I unrolled them just to please her. She never makes me feel good about myself, and she doesn't have nearly as many rules for my sister. When I tried to tell her all of this, she just yelled at me and didn't let me finish. Please help. What should I do?
Well, I know what she's doing is she's just being protective. So
The mother's being
yeah.
protective, right?
Definitely.
And she feels that when you get older, you gain more trust from your parents. And she feels like maybe her older sister gets more, like, I don't know how to describe it, but she gets more attention. Freedom.
Right.
So because she's older and maybe has earned her mom's trust. So she may feel like everything's against her, but really she's just looking out for her.
Going through that phase, right?
Yeah, this happens to me. This happens to me a lot, actually. My parents they're very overprotective, and they don't let me do a lot of things. And I sat my dad down, and I was like, "What? Like, I feel like you're not being like fair to me, and I don't know what to do. Have I lost your trust? How can I regain it?" And I just asked him, like, and then we made an agreement and we compromised.
Thank you, panelists. That wraps up U Talk Q&A. Now coming up in our next segment, my co-host Paige Turner talks with the panel about relationships and interpersonal behaviors. School is a very much social place. In fact, for many students, interacting with and gaining the acceptance of peers are more important than classroom learning and achievement. It is a maze to navigate and understand, and in our next segment, we'll take a tiny step into that maze. Don't go away.
Your company can join these local businesses in offering students with disabilities the much-needed experience to compete in today's job market. For young people with disabilities, participating in mentoring programs, job shadowing, and internships are great ways to make them stand out among other job applicants. If your company would like to add a student intern, then contact the Special Education Department now at 910-254-4445.
Welcome back to U-Talk. I'm Paige Turner, school counselor at Noble Middle School. Teachers play an important role in the course of students throughout the formal schooling experience. While most research regarding teacher-student relationships focuses on the elementary years, teachers have the unique opportunities to support students' academic and social development at all levels of schooling. This relationship is just one of many that middle school students navigate. Here in our second segment of the show, we'll talk about relationships with other students, our parents, and student peers. Okay guys, so kind of the topic we're going to talk about is relationships. We've kind of hinted to talk about like how you interact with your teachers, how you interact with your friends and your peers and your parents. So which one do you guys want to start with? Teachers, peers, parents? Teachers.
Yes.
Okay. All right, teachers. So in middle school, how do you guys kind of relate to your teachers? Do you kind of see them as like authority figures and you're scared to talk to them? Do you kind of like joke around with your teachers?
I feel like it depends on the teacher.
True.
Very much. It depends on how much you like that teacher, how much that teacher you feel likes you, and I feel like it's just kind of you get closer to your teachers as the year goes on, and then in the beginning you'll see them as authority figures, and then at the end you can be like joking around. So,
right.
Yeah.
I usually feel like them as like kind of like they're related to me. Like I feel like they're just like really, really good friends to me, cause
well, you see them every day for a really long time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel like I can like talk to them a lot.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point, Caleb. You know, obviously your teachers are there to kind of teach you, you know, the curriculum and the material, but, you know, do you guys feel like you could go talk to a teacher if there was something unrelated that was bothering you or even related to school?
Yeah, at first, at the beginning of the year, I was kind of like, with some of my teachers because, I don't know.
You didn't know them very well.
Yeah, and then as the time went further, I realized they're just there to help me, and so after school sometimes I go over there and I talk to them about some things, and they really connect with me, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's
sorry.
it's the teachers that like shared their personal stories that I feel like I get along with more, and like because they tell you stuff about them, so I feel like I can trust them to say stuff about me.
Yeah, and like for me, and I'm in 7th grade, so now like my 6th grade teachers, I go to and talk to them all the time. Like I talk to them all the time, and I really hope that like my 7th grade teachers, I'm gonna be able to do that in like 8th grade, because like every day I go and see my homeroom teacher, and I always go talk to her, and because I have a lot of 6th grader friends that are in her class when I'm passing her class, so I always talk to her.
And
That's great.
yeah, I love staying after school with my teachers. Like when I'm supposed to get work done, I'll always be like talking with my teachers
Yes.
and stuff. And then in 6th grade, like I'd be staying after class, and the teachers would like let us like at the games and stuff. We'd always get candy and stuff. We'd just go hang out in the room and get like all our work done and just hang out with the teachers and like.
Well, and if any of the teachers are kind of watching this, I think that probably makes them feel really great, because as a teacher, you know, you want to be more than just that person that's teaching you how to do math or you know write a paper. So that's awesome. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about relationships with peers. What about dating? Does that go on in middle school? What does that look like in middle school?
It's like
It goes on, yeah.
a little bit. I would say that mostly if you have a relationship in middle school, it's like it stays in the school. You don't actually like go out. In 6th grade at least.
6th grade at least, okay.
7th grade you go out.
Yeah, it's like I know a couple of my friends, they actually have quote unquote girlfriends, and they go to like the dances together and they hang out at recess, and that's about it.
Okay. So in 6th grade, it's still kind of like the bridge between elementary and middle, and you're kind of not really doing stuff outside of school. You're just kind of like maybe having a crush on somebody, and you may say you go out, but you don't really do much. You just like hang out.
There's a bunch of kids from elementary school, so you don't really know all of them yet.
Right. So let's talk about, we've got 3 7th graders and then Max your 6th. So what is it, how does it transform into 7th grade?
I feel like in 6th grade, it's kind of like, okay, you're my boyfriend.
You just call it that.
Yeah.
And then like it's also in 6th grade, they like how Macy said, it's like kind of just stays there and it's like not too serious. But once you're starting to get in 7th grade, like I have a friend that like had a girlfriend and it went on, he thought it was just gonna happen for like a couple days, maybe like a week. It went on for a whole 4 months.
Wow.
And they just started hanging out all the time.
So is 4 months a really long time in middle school to be?
For a middle
somebody.
school
I would say
that's
6th grade, you won't last a month.
And in 7th grade, there's a lot of people want to either like go to the beach and hang out, go to Mayfair and hang out. So like if you have your boyfriend or girlfriend's number, you hang out with them at Mayfair. You might go see a movie, you might just go out to eat or
So
something.
in person, it's not just like you're Snapchatting and Instagram
No, yeah,
and
you
texting.
like actually like
You
hang
actually
out.
I feel
and
like
stuff.
some
in
relationships
groups or like one-on-one?
it depends.
It's groups, one-on-one, double dates, everything.
I feel like when I see, I feel like as the relationship grows, they start doing it individually. But at the beginning, they like hang out with their
It's
friends.
like
and
awkward
stuff.
stage. Like
It's like, hi.
yeah.
So how does one in middle school ask somebody to date or to go out? I don't know how you
Really?
what you
It
say.
It ranges from like a lot of different things. Yeah, Snapchat sometimes. But I remember I've seen people like ask other people to do it for them because they're scared, and I feel like that would never work.
Annoys me.
Yeah, it's annoying, it's awkward, it's all weird. It's like my friend likes you. He asked me to come and see if you would go out with him.
Yeah.
And it's like, why didn't he just come ask me in person?
Exactly.
It's like he was too scared. It's like, well then no.
Yeah.
And I never really know if it's real or not because people played this game Oreo,
Yeah.
and it's so weird.
Yes,
It's like
it
they
is.
walk up to you and like, "Hey, you want to go out with me?" And I'm like, "No, go
Yeah,
away."
because like it's rock, paper, scissors, and if you lose, like,
You have to ask
whoever
someone out.
loses, you have to ask somebody out, and it's like
And it's
weird.
not for real. It's
No,
like
it's
just
not
a
for real.
joke. It's like a dare.
It's a dare.
And if
dare.
someone
It's
says
really
yes,
dumb.
you're like, oh wait, what? No.
No, this was a dare. Like,
It's like,
no.
wait, no, it's a dare.
So what if
It's
somebody
just
does say
and
like
then they,
yes
like,
or
get all
no, then you're
sad.
just like you've like fulfilled the dare and you're done, or
Well,
then you
yeah,
gotta
and then
say-
and then you're done. But
Then
like
you
if
have
they
to
say
say
yes, then you're like, oh wait, no, that was a dare, and then it's like really embarrassing.
right?
Yeah. In 6th grade, asking people out is really like at lunchtime. Someone would just go over to the table, everyone will stare at them, and they'll be like, will you go out with me? And then if they get lucky, the person will say yes, and then everyone just cheers.
And
Kind of awkward.
in 7th grade,
If they say no,
it's either you see them in the hallway after electives or just in the hallway and they'll ask you out, or they'll ask you out after school, before school, or like over text, over Instagram, over Snapchat. But
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, things
backseat
surely
of the
have
bus.
changed since I was in middle school. We used to do the passing the notes, you know, will you go out with me? Check yes or no. So
Well, we still
things-
pass notes.
It's just
not to
electronic.
ask out.
It's just electronic notes.
Yeah, it's
get caught.
It's a digital note.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for letting everybody kind of look into the world of middle school, you know, teacher-student kind of, you know, bonding, and then your dating lives, perhaps. So, alrighty, don't go away. When we return, my co-host will return and talk with our panelists about where middle school students gather in social settings.
Get connected with your school system. Your School News covers news that matters for parents, guardians, and Greater New Hanover County. Stories about preparing students for success in a changing world. Stories where students are achievers.
Internship I had to, we pretty much made a vehicle from spare parts, and at first we made it so it just moved, and then we made it so it was an electrical vehicle.
Stories of teaching where every child yearns to learn.
Today is all about STEAM. STEAM is kind of the key word to tying art into science, technology, engineering, and math.
Your School News brings viewers more than 8 hours of school news and information, reporting on what's happening in the district, what students are learning, how the school system operates, and beyond. Your School News, only on this channel.
Welcome back to U-Talk. Of the approximately 25 million American kids ages 12 to 17, millions of them are probably exactly where they told their parents they would be. The mall, the dance, the kickback at cool student's house. But let's be real. There are, in all probability, millions of other teens who aren't anywhere close to where they told their parents they were going to be. Teens tend to craft their skills of telling mom or dad what they want to hear because they figure if they told the truth, their parents would be extremely upset. Plus, teens crave at least some privacy and autonomy, which is also developmentally appropriate. In our final segment, we are going to discuss the importance of having a place to socialize with their friends. All right, panelists, tell a little bit about where you hang out with your friends. What do you do in Wilmington?
I mostly go to Mayfair, and we'll either eat at like Bricks, we'll eat at Tokyo 101, and we'll just kind of like hang out and walk around and buy stuff.
And are you truthful with your parents so they know where you are at all times and they can get a hold of you?
Definitely. I always have my phone on me.
What would happen if you didn't tell them the truth?
I wouldn't be able to go anywhere for the rest of my life.
Punishment and consequences, right?
For me, I go places where my parents most of the time know, a little bit.
Ooh.
But they wouldn't be like angry at me because it's nothing like bad. But yeah, I'd probably get in a lot of trouble because like we tell our parents we'll be at like a friend's house, and then we go like down the street to somebody else's house and we do other stuff there. But if my parents found out, they would either be number one, yelling at me, screaming, or okay.
Do you have like certain boundaries or that like kind of know your limit as far as like if you're just down the street instead of saying, oh, mom and dad, I'm here at this person's house, but then you leave that person's house and then go back or something like that? Do you have certain limits?
I just tell them I'm near my friend's house. And that's just about it.
So when I usually tell my mom where I'm going, but like I usually check in every about 2 hours, 2 to 5 hours on my phone.
That's a good time kind of goal to set and that way.
If I'm late, if I do not call back,
there you go.
I get grounded and it's not fun. It is not fun.
Not fun.
And so like I'll make sure I'll be with like my friend and I'll be like, all right, I'm at my friend's house, and then we'll like leave like right after I call them, and then we'll be like a couple miles away on our bikes.
Riding bikes with friends in the
Yeah,
neighborhood?
and then she'd be like, are you still at Zeke's house? I'll be like, no, I'm not at Zeke's house anymore. It's like, okay.
And then
Just
you
make
tell.
sure you tell. Just make sure you call back and tell where you're going.
Exactly.
like-
All right.
Change of location and reporting in, right?
Yeah.
If I'm at my friend's house and like we go out or something, like my friend's mom is basically like my second mom. Like sometimes I'll accidentally call her mom, but like my mom trusts me with her, and so if I'm at her friend's house, if I'm at my friend's house, I can not go wherever I want. I have to tell her, but like she trusts me to let her know where we're going. So like if I'm going to Defy Gravity, if I'm going to Mayfair, I'm like, hey, I'm going to Mayfair. If I need you to come pick me up, I'll let you know. I'll call you. And then she's like, okay, thank you for keeping in touch. Like
Building that trust is essential, right? For
And
sure.
then definitely, like, if I don't, sometimes I'll actually call my parents so much that I'll annoy them. Like I'll be like, I'll call them and I'll be like, all right, I'm fishing on the pier. 10 minutes later, all right, I'm fishing on the pier. It's like, you just called me back like 10 minutes ago. It's like, oh, sorry. And then I'll call back like 20 minutes later. It's like, all right, I'm still fishing on the pier. It's like, okay, you can call back. You only have to call twice a day.
The 2 to 5 hour window, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Macy?
So if I go somewhere, I always text my parents like I'm here, and then I text them like kind of what my schedule would be. So if I go to the movie with my friends, then I'll text her when I get to the movies. I'll say I'm here. I'll text you when the movie's over, and then when the movie's over, I'll text her. The movie's done. We're going to so and so's house, and so that builds her trust with me, so I can have more freedom.
It sounds like you do have more freedom when you do regularly check in and you are where you say you are going to be, because that trust is there and you're in the area, right?
Yeah,
so that your parents could find you easily if they needed to be. So I've heard Mayfair, that's another place you hang out. Is there anywhere else that you hang out? Or
Jungle Rapids.
Jungle Rapids?
I go usually to like fishing areas.
Fishing areas?
And one reason why I do go is because if I catch a fish, I can send it to her and she knows that I'm actually there. And
It
that's
kind
one
of
way. That's
validates.
One way. Yeah, that's one way of
Proof.
showing. Yeah, that's definitely big proof. And then if I'm not fishing, I'm probably at the skate park.
Okay. The Ogden Skate Park, or is there another skate park in town?
Ogden Skate Park usually.
Yep. There's some other ones, I think. Greenfield.
Sometimes I'll go to the beach. I'll go eat at like Tower 7 or like. So we're either at the beach or I'm at Mayfair or like I'm somewhere around Mayfair.
Well, keep being responsible, panelists, because that's a really important way to earn trust and have some freedom of your own, which you definitely need as you get older. All right, well, that wraps up our program this month. I'm Megan DeMolina. On behalf of my co-host, Paige Turner, and the entire UTalk panel, thanks for watching. We hope you'll submit questions to our show and tune in again next month for an all-new episode of UTalk.